Nobody told you that the secret to success is to actually assume and think you're successful before you actually have the money. We have to assume we're that person already. That's what we're talking about right here. You have to assume that you're more than who you are already. You have to assume bigger than what's going on in your outside environment, because if not, you're just going to keep living in a rat race. You have to see yourself as being more, doing more, having more than what the outside world is reflecting. I think as Jay Allen says that the hardest thing a human being can ever do is to think. I know it's so true because it happened to me when I was 23 years old. I had $100 in my bank account. My mentor Bob Proctor said, DeAndre, you have to assume you're successful first. I did that, and not more than 45 days later, I was making $100,000 a month. And it was at that point that I knew the law of assumption was real. So in this video, we're gonna be covering the things that you can do right now if you're dead broke or if you're struggling. I had a client talking to yesterday. I was talking to him. He's stuck at $10,000 a month for the last 4 years. I don't care where you're at in your life. If you want to go to the next level in your life, you're gonna have to assume that you're a different person than you are right now. What's going on, family? It's your man DeAndre Sachs. I'm back for another video coming to you from beautiful Dubai. You already know what it is. We got a nice little morning session with you guys. So we're going to be diving into this because I've been seeing your guys' comments, and we have people from all over the spectrum on the business and income level on the channel right now. We have guys just getting started off, under $5,000 a month that just need to get off the ground. Then we have a lot of big section of you guys are stuck in the six-figure a year, 10,000, 20,000, that kind of thing. And then we have a couple clients that are in the seven-figure range. Either way, guys, like, you're going to use this information to apply to the next level. Whatever you want, literally, that is. It's not what I define as success. It's not about like living in Dubai and driving a Lamborghini. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, meaning that you wrote down exactly what you want with your life, and when you start moving in that direction, something that inspires you, that means you're going after success, and in that moment you're actually successful. And to put this into perspective, okay, the reason you're stuck is because of what you're assuming. It's your consciousness. Now, in this channel, we talk about many aspects of mindset and just lifestyle, things that I've accumulated in my life and as far as knowledge, and I just share it with you here. So we're not going to get too deep in like that consciousness is the control in your life, and which we all know. But in order for you to become a different version of yourself, what's happening is you have to assume you are successful first. So I actually want to read up this quote by Neville Goddard in The Power of Awareness. So check this out. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. So our biggest flaw is that we think that circumstances are being dealt to us. Oh, I don't have the money. Oh, I don't have the business. I don't have the connections. I don't have the partnership. I don't have the resources. That's our biggest flaw. Our outside world is not external to us. Everything that's going on in your life, bro, before you go and you start wanting to be successful, you have to understand that you've attracted everything in your life right now. Everything. Based on your assumptions, you assume that you're in this position. So if you're broke right now, you're broke because you assume you are broke. Here's how it works. You look at the outside world and you see a broke life, broke bank account. And based on what you see, it causes broke thoughts, broke feelings, and broke actions. And you start to let the outside world control your inside world. Or if you're stuck at 10,000 a month, like the guy I talked to yesterday, for 4 years stuck at 10K a month, it's the same process. It doesn't matter what income level. You look at your outside world, and based on what you see, it starts to control your emotions. And so what happens is the outside world is the creator. You're not becoming the creator. So you have to first understand that your outside world and your inside world are not separate, that you have actually created all the things in your life. So for some of you, you're like, oh man, I hate this shit. I don't like what's going on outside. But some of you start to take action now. You start to take responsibility, and that's what you need to have. You need to take responsibility that you can actually change your life, okay? So all that befalls a man, all that is done by him, all that comes from him happens as a result of his state of consciousness. So everything what you do, your thoughts, feelings, and actions, we talk about it multiple times on this channel. We have to change 3 parts of you in order to go to the next level. And everybody has been conditioned, myself included. We have been conditioned our entire lives to believe that we live in a physical world, right? We want to make more money. We want to have a car. We want to have a better lifestyle. But we have to understand that the outside world is literally the last plane of creation. We live on 3 planes of creation: spiritual, intellectual, and physical. So if we're going to want to make you successful, we have to hit all three levels, because if you only do the physical place, not only will it take you longer, not only will it be more difficult, why not work with laws that make it so much easier to succeed? Think about my story. I'm just a testimonial of this kind of information. How did somebody go from 0 to 100,000 a month in 45 days? That doesn't make sense. I quantum leaped, and the quantum leap in the physical world is always a quantum leap in the mental and spiritual world. Does that make sense? So the physical world, you're wanting to have a quantum leap in your income and your lifestyle. Okay, so that's the physical world. What we have to do is first tap into the spiritual world. We have to tap into your consciousness, the thing that's controlling what comes in and out of your life. We have to start to use our imagination to create a new reality of who you want to become. And most importantly, we have to assume we're that person already. That's what we're talking about right here. You have to assume that you're more than who you are already. You have to assume bigger than what's going on in your outside environment, because if not, you're just going to keep living in a rat race. You have to see yourself as being more, doing more, having more than what the outside world is reflecting. Using your imagination to see yourself in that dream car, to see yourself with that girlfriend, to see yourself living in Dubai or whatever dream city, to see yourself living as somebody that you're not now. I think as James Allen says, that the hardest thing a human being can ever do is to think. Because to think is not to look at the outside world and say, oh my gosh, I'm broke based on what I see in the outside world. That you're only reacting. You're reacting to what's going on around you. You're reacting to the 3D world. To think is to see it in your mind, that vision of your life, the vision of of that success that you see. To see it in your mind, despite what's going on in the outside 3D world, and to hold that vision long enough, thinking from that state, assuming you're that person before it ever happens. That's what we're talking about here, that you have to assume you're successful before you ever touch it. Remember, the physical world will always follow as a reflection of what you're thinking here. So if you're struggling right now in any level, and any frequency of income level or business, we have to first change the spiritual part. We have to imagine yourself as so much more than who you are. Then we have the intellectual part, and this is where a lot of you get tripped up. Some of you're watching this video now because you probably assume that, okay, I want to be successful, but you might be getting tripped up over the intellectual part. You're thinking, where's the money going to come from? Where's the resources going to come from? And that's where 90% of people get stuck. And this is why we use the law of assumption to actually change our reality. So if we know that we live in a world that's controlled by frequency, Nikola Tesla says, if you want to understand the universe, understand frequencies and vibrations. So we live in an ocean of motion, meaning that there's certain laws like law of attraction, law of vibration. There's certain laws that we can actually use to manifest in quantum leap. It's like, okay, if I want to take a trip to the gym, I can walk, I could take a bike, or I could take a car. Taking a walk is simply using the physical world by mere action to try to change your physical results. When we could just hop in a car, use this quantum laws that have been given on this universe, that this is perfection. If we use these laws, we can quantum leap to the next level. I know for a fact, I've experienced it. Do you realize that in less than 6 months, bro, if you lock in and you do all the other things we talk about on this channel, you could be at a 6-figure business? If not crazy like me, 7-figure business. Like it was just overnight success. But it looked overnight success to the uninitiated, to people that work in the physical world, because all they know is step 1, step 2, step 3. But when you work with the spiritual laws like the law of assumption, you can go step 0 to step 100 overnight, because you're working in a spiritual quantum realm. You're working with metaphysics. You're working with the subconscious mind. And whatever you impress upon the subconscious mind must be expressed outwardly, because the subconscious mind controls 95% of your results. So if we can convince your subconscious mind that you're successful first, you'll start to see synchronicities. The money, the people, the resources will start to magnetize to you. Okay? So let's continue with this. If you're liking this kind of content, man, make sure you subscribe below. Stay locked in, man. As you see, we talk about different kind of stuff on this channel. But hey, don't hop off yet. We still got a lot more here to do. Okay. So this is why a change of consciousness is necessary before you change your outer world. So what you have to do is you have to create an ideal version of who you want to be, and you have to assume you're that person. Here's the issue, and here's the biggest kicker, bro. You're gonna have to assume you're more than your outside environment. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it works. It's called the law of assumption. Everybody has heard of the law of attraction, meaning that you attract the things that are on your frequency. Everybody's heard of whether it's The Secret or whatever, but they don't know the other foundational laws. That what exactly are you attracting? You're attracting what you assume. What does it mean to attract what you assume? To say, for example, I want to be successful, I want to earn more money, right? That's what somebody will say. Whenever I had my first $100,000 month, I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm trying. No, I assumed I had the money. I started to act like it, walk like it, create content like it. I showed up as that version of myself first, And because of that, it's like you become a magnet. It's magnetic. The law of vibration says that you're gonna always attract the same thing that's on your frequency. So what I started to do was I started to think, act, walk, and act at all levels, all 3 levels we just talked about, like I was successful first. And that's what James Allen says, that you have to think, you have to be greater than your environment. You can't, it doesn't matter if you come from money. Guys, I was sleeping in my car. 45 days later, 100 grand a month, because I learned the law of assumption. I learned that I could be more than what my environment said. But I didn't know this until I went down the rabbit hole of learning law of assumption, law of attraction, and all these different things from Bob Proctor, because my outside world kept saying I was a broke joke. But as soon as I matched that I was a successful person, what I defined as success at the time when I was 25, right? I earned my first million at 25. As soon as I matched that frequency, bro, like it runs towards you. Let me tell you, Napoleon Hill says this: when big money starts to flow, it flows in such abundance that you wonder where it was during all those lean years. And it's so true. When we can flip the switch in your life from poverty thinking, which is everything in your outside world, especially if you're stuck. I don't care if you're stuck at 10K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month, 10, 5, whatever, it doesn't matter. Wherever you're stuck at right now, the outside world is lying to you. The outside world is a reflection of your inner world, and you're not liking that right now. That's why you're watching this video. So what you have to do is assume you're a better version of yourself. You have to assume that you're more than you actually are. And here's the biggest kicker, and we talk about this in the law of detachment, which we'll probably talk about maybe tomorrow, that it takes time for the outside world to actually materialize. The physical world, as much as you think it's solid, it's actually the slowest form of vibration. Meaning, if you see a thought in your head, let's take Dubai for example. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, a bunch of sheikhs and rich guys got together and said, hey, let's create a desert city. First, it was a spiritual imagination. Then they created the blueprints in the intellectual mind. Now it's a physical world, right? So the physical thing, look at like everything in my background here. Everything was once a thought in another person's mind. Do you realize that? Look around your room. We literally live in a world that's created by the consciousness of man. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to assume you're more than your outside environment will tells you. The moment you do this, the moment you match with this, you'll take off to the next level, and you'll wonder why you ever lived in the darkness, and then you'll live in the light. You'll just wonder why, life is so much like a video game, and it is. Life is just like Grand Theft Auto. You can build whatever you want, create whatever you want, but you gotta build belief in yourself. You got to create the fantasy, and as you guys talk about, as we talk about here, there's so much more that goes into it, but right here we're talking about the law of assumption. So guys, if you like content like this, and if you want to learn more about it, you can also check the links in the description below. Join the community, stay locked in with us, because that's what it is. This channel is all about men that want to go to the 7-figure level, build a dream lifestyle, and live the life that they want, creating the real world like a GTA lifestyle.